Okay, today is July 5th, and I'm going to go over my trading for July 1st through the July 5th. This week was a holiday week. The Thursday was the holiday in the markets, and Wednesday was a half day, so obviously not as much volume coming in into the markets during holiday weeks. And also, I didn't trade too much because of that reason. You don't want to get stuck in trades that have low volume or can't uh, get the juice that they need to work out. So I only took 4 trades all week, and the first one that I took on July 1st was PPC, and this one had a big breakout of this level, this 1420-ish level, and the next day it opened close to the previous day's high, and I was going for a second day parabolic move on this one. Had a big volume spike on this day, and it gave me an intraday break. So I went for the move, and I'll show you on my 2 minute. So basically, I got an intraday break on my 2 minute chart, my entry chart, and it did kind of give me uh, it gave me a run, a pullback, and then a break. This entry, it was actually a scale in. You can't really tell because I scaled in on the same 2 minute bar, but my average was around 22. But I scaled in some closer to the low of this bar, and then I scaled in more on the break of this 25 high, and I got an average of 22. So um, from here, it ended up starting to lose the compelling reasons for the trade. I wanted to see it go from here. I wanted to see buyers come in. This is not the action that I was looking for after my entry. And I ended up taking, uh, even though my initial stop was around 98, it was actually around 1498. Uh, that's where the market should not have gone. But I ended up pulling it in because when you see this type of action, you had this strength, pull back, more strength. It was pretty compelling for this thing to get more momentum to the upside today on this particular day. So when I saw it start to fail and then I saw this EMA not holding, it just I just lost the compelling reasons and I just got out of it. So even though if I would have held this all day through lunch, you could see it was pretty choppy. It ended up recovering, breaking the high a day, and then going back down, and then back up, back down. It was just choppy all day long. So I would have really this trade, if I would have stayed in, it would have drove me absolutely crazy. The trades that I like to take are the ones that give me the meat of the move, in a matter of the first couple hours of the day. I don't necessarily like these types of choppy stocks that or choppy price action where it ends up, getting up there. The high of day was around 48, um, but or 47, but it took a long time and it took a lot of up down up down up down to get there. So that's not necessarily the action that I like to see. So I was glad to be out of this instead of wasting my whole day on this trade trying to figure out what it's going to do. And then the next day I took OWW, and that was the second. And OWW had a lot of potential. It had this resistance level around 875, and it broke it. Let me find it. It ended up breaking, um, compelling enough of a break to get me into it. And let me just pull this up. So here's the trade right here. Here's my 2 minute, and you can see this thing ended up just being chop chop. But um, I went ahead and entered on this break of this 880 edge that was holding. 875 was my break on the daily, so um, we had broken through that. But looking in hindsight, and hindsight's always 2020, but looking in hindsight, this is a sign of this. I probably could have been a little more leery of this action because if you look at it in hindsight, it's very kind of a parabolic move here. So I entered pretty much on the high of that parabolic move, and then it ended up came down crashing hard. And I'm glad I got out of it and didn't deal with it anymore, because obviously it recovered, but it just slammed right back down and then went choppy for the rest of the day. So definitely not action that I am a fan of at all. This price action is not trader friendly whatsoever. So, um, in hindsight, this trade looks like a bad decision, but it was a break of a big area on the daily. So, in case it wanted to go, I wanted to be in it, and I don't necessarily regret that, but I'm glad that I managed it the way I did, because, again, I wouldn't have wanted to sit through all this choppy price action. And then on this same day, I took RMBS, and RMBS pretty much was a break of this 9 level. So, this one was an okay trade. I mean, it was I wasn't excited about this one when I was first looking at it, but once it started to form, I started to be like, okay, this could go. So, you never know until it happens. But let me pull this one up here. Here we go. So this one, I had an intraday break, and the actual break was that I was looking for was 9. So I scaled some in it at 902, and then I got a little bit more in around 905, and then I scaled some out when this level couldn't really break through, and it was starting to look weak. So I took some off, and then took a graceful exit on the rest of it. So I ended up net positive on this trade, but not by a whole lot. I just pretty much, it failed from here, you can see. So I pretty much just managed my risk really well on this one, to where, I mean, on all of these, I've been managing my risk really well. So I haven't, um, I haven't been down too much, but it's easy to recover from these types of trades when you manage your risk really well and you're tight on it. You can recover a lot easier. And then the last trade that I took for the week was this morning, and this was CVC. This is another one, just managed really tight, because today's the day after a holiday. I didn't know what was going to happen in the market, or what the volume was going to be like, but I took a chance on it anyways, because I really liked the intraday pattern here, and I liked the daily. Um, there was an edge around 1906 on this daily chart. This is a pretty strong looking bullish stock here. So it broke 1906. You can see it had 3 tries to break through. It finally broke through it. I entered, and I was looking for a break of a previous resistance level, from a while back, around the 25 level. You can see that. And then from here, it had a gap fill around 1950. So I saw the potential on it, and figured I'd give it a try, just with a small position. I didn't trade full size today because, like I said, it's the day after a holiday. But it ended up giving us a nice little run. Couldn't break through this level, but like I said, I only had a small position, so I wasn't, looking to scale. I was just looking for my area, and to get out from there. But once it couldn't break through this, I was looking for this level to hold, and it didn't. And then I gave it one chance to test my entry point, which was around this level. I wanted to see it bounce from here, and obviously it came down a little bit, and I had a real tight stop on it, so it took me out. And now it's putting in. It could be putting in a lower high. It could recover from here. It definitely could, but um, holding through lunch I'm just not a fan of that. And I knew that if this level failed, this previous resistance turned into support. If it failed, then I wouldn't want to be in this trade anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what this ends up doing. Like I said, from here it could either recover, go for the high a day break, or it could put in a lower high and just fade off for the rest of the day. But looking at the 15 and the 60-minute, and even the 5-minute, it's pretty bullish. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm just going to move on with my day. And next week, we'll be back at it with, I'm sure, full volume.